I know it's hard. It's a very big financial commitment to send your student abroad for many years. It must be hard. I couldn't send my child away for that long. It must be very hard emotionally. Their most common challenge, I find, is understanding oral language. A couple of years ago, a bunch of Italian students organized Italian days, where we do big things for Lunar New Year.
大家好，我是留学问理查的理查。这次的访谈是由加拿大教育局安排，非常高兴能够与国际事务部的老师 Miss Jennifer 勾铁讨论有关国际学生抵达加拿大的时候所遇到的问题，以及新生欢迎会，还有课程安排，还有当学生遇到的问题是如何协助国际学生的呢？
My name is Jennifer Goche. I'm the ISP school coordinator at Brookswood Secondary. I have been working at this school a long time, about 13 years, but I have been working in ISP for about 4 years. My role is to help students with anything they need. So helping them with their schedules, ensuring they meet graduation requirements, helping them in their courses, planning events to take them out and see Vancouver, also in-school events. Pretty much anything that they need to help them have a good experience in the school.
When new students just arrive in Canada, there's an orientation for students. Could you please share with us, what is orientation like?
For students starting in September, it happens in August, the week before school starts. At orientation, we have all the students. We have them in the library. We cover everything from initial English testing to make sure that they are scheduled correctly, to tours of the school, making sure they can get on their phones, their Wi-Fi, logging in and downloading all the apps. We also cover clubs and teams and trips and general rules that are required with the program. First thing they do is their English exam, and then I use that English exam to make sure their courses are correct, both for their level and their goals. It depends on their work habits, in my opinion. Even if their English is lower, if they have strong work habits, then they can be successful in the academic program. If they're willing to get a tutor outside of school, if they're willing to ask teachers for help and do the work required, they can try, no problem. So we must make sure they have the correct things. If students want course changes, there is a procedure for that. So we have a form we give them, and we have them request the courses they want to remove and tell me what courses they want to add. And then they have up to 2 weeks to change their classes. So they reach us by coming physically to the office. That's the first option. So there's usually at least one person here almost all day. If they come and there's no one here, then we use Microsoft Teams for communication. So students can message me anytime, or either of the EAs at any time if they have questions or they need help.
Okay. So most of the students will receive the pre-course selection before they actually arrive Canada.
Yes.
So what is your suggestion for students who are doing the pre-course selection?
My suggestion is to think about if they're going to graduate, what kind of program or school they're interested in. Even in grade 11, it's very important to know if you need 1 science or 3 science, and what kind of entrance requirements you are trying to meet. Also, if the English level is lower, it is sometimes beneficial to stay longer to improve the English before and not to rush to graduate.
What are most common challenges when students arrive Canada?
Their most common challenge, I find, is understanding oral language. Most of our students have had lots of practice with writing or reading in English, but many have not heard a native English speaker speak, especially in a classroom setting. And so oral language development is where they struggle the most, and what I would recommend practicing the most before they come. Yeah.
Speaking of practicing, any suggestion?
For oral language, like even just watching TV or movies in English and then trying to explain what they're talking about. No subtitle. Like just try to understand the speech. Because it's much quicker here when they arrive, and that's what is most difficult, I find, for them.
Some of the students, they want to study in advance, like mathematics and science, because we taught in Mandarin, right?
Yeah.
So students get so used to the textbook in Chinese.
Yeah, just like key vocabulary even, like knowing the key words in Mandarin and then what they translate to in English. Like knowing what division for math in Mandarin and then how it reads in English. Knowing the key words will help them be more successful in the academic subjects. We do allow a lot of translation support in our school in those kinds of subjects. Students are permitted. In our office, we have a bank of translators that teachers allow students to use for tests because they are locked, so they cannot Google or ChatGPT or anything. So we do allow some translation support, but for English development, really learning those terms, key terms that they will see a lot in English is important.
Well, based on my experience, Chinese students tend to be a little bit shy in the very beginning in the class, and sometimes teachers there encourage students to speak. So they should take the opportunity and take risk to engaging themselves in the classroom. So my question is, if a student feels shy, and how the teachers encourage students in the class?
I think our teachers are understanding of the culture shock, especially when the students first arrive, that it's very difficult for them. But something that students don't understand is that speaking in class is something we assess on in Canada. It is part of the course requirements. We cannot just submit written work. It's also expected that students speak. And so it's really important for them to try. Teachers don't always care about how great their answer is, but more that they're engaging in the class and that they're trying to engage in the class.
How about students who are so afraid of making mistakes?
I know. Canadian students are also afraid to make mistakes, but in different ways because they're comfortable speaking. I find Canadian students are more afraid of making mistakes in written form.
I understand the school might have an EA in the class. Can you please explain the EA's role in the class?
Yeah, in our building we have 2 EAs, and part of their jobs is to go into the classrooms. So at the beginning of every year, we determine which classrooms have large quantities of international students in them, and then they will support those students in those classrooms. Or if we have students who are particularly low in specific areas like language or math, then we will try to push into those classrooms and support them as well. So they do things like we have one Mandarin-speaking EA, which is really helpful for us, and she can do some translation support if necessary, but she also tries to push them to speak English. But sometimes we need that help to understand the instructions. They will try to keep them on task as well, and then also make sure that they are working hard to be successful in their classes.
So how about students feel struggling in the class? What is the suggestion you would give a student?
Well, first, I tell them at orientation every year they need to tell us if they're struggling. Sometimes we do not know until a report card comes, and then we would like to know before that. So first, we always say, tell us, come tell us if you're struggling, and we can alter our schedule if we need to help more if a student has asked for help. We do often need students, though, to get outside of school help. So at Brookswood, we have free tutoring for math, English, and languages like French and Spanish after school 1 day a week. So I recommend students go for that help as well. But sometimes they do need to get extra tutoring classes if they're really having a difficult time.
Please share with us about the student population and local student and with international student, how they engage in activities together.
Sure. We have about 1,100 students total, and roughly 200 are international students. We have students from 18 different countries in our building right now. The largest population is from China, mainland China, but we also have many students from Europe, a lot of Italians, Germans, Brazilians, Chile, France, Austria, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, all of the countries, major countries pretty much, we have representatives of. Clubs, ISP trips where you have all the different countries mixing together, also teams, things like that will allow students to make connections with local students, but also international students not from their country. And I find that when they come younger, it's easier for them to integrate. So Ler is a good example of that. He has many friends from other countries and local friends because he did come younger. It's harder when they come in grade 12, for example, to integrate into the Canadian population.
What type of activities a student may have?
So we have international specific activities. So these are events or field trips that are specific to international students. So district trips, for example, we're going to Victoria next weekend, or school-based trips. At the end of the month, we're going to like a Halloween fair. We also have clubs within the school, so that's open to everyone. Lots of different clubs, everything from Dungeons and Dragons and chess and debate to like a knitting club, art club, automotive club, lots of different club options. And then athletics teams are the third kind of category. So if you're athletic and you want to compete on a team, there's basketball, soccer, swimming, cross country, rugby, volleyball, tennis, golf, hockey, a whole bunch of different athletic options.
I understand a lot of public high school doesn't accept international students. So So based on your experience, what is the benefit for local students having international students study together?
I think it's a great movement for the local students because they are able to connect with different cultures from all over the world and learn a lot more about what's going on outside of their community. And I know the host families in particular, a lot of them have students who also go to our schools, and they have had really positive experiences from having that cultural connection.
Fun fact of this school.
Fun fact of this school.
This
Okay, I have to
always
think.
challenging.
I have to think.
I give you another question, which is you might think about it.
Okay.
So what is the most fun part of your job? So you can answer either.
I will answer. The most fun part of my job is all of like the different cultures. Often students will bring me things from home, and I like to like try all the little foods or the teas or the things that they bring to share with us. And sometimes they will like want to organize events. A couple of years ago, a bunch of Italian students organized Italian days, or we do big things for Lunar New Year. And I just really love learning about all of the different cultures and then trying all the little treats that they bring me. I have a Brazilian Kit Kat over there. Lots of different fun things. That's my favorite part, is learning about their countries.
Okay, anything fun part of this school specifically?
School specifically. Okay, fun part, fun fact. Well, we're Apple certified, which is really fun. We like that all of our students use Apple products. If your students are in grade 8, we actually give them an iPad to use for the whole year. So all of our grade 8s, for free, get to borrow an iPad for the entirety of the school year, which they use in all of their grade 8 classes. And we're the only school in the district that does the iPad program at grade 8. So that's kind of a fun fact.
Well, you also mentioned about the school, some athletic program in that
Oh, yes.
team.
Yeah, we are very good at some of the sports. Our basketball program in particular is very large. Our students go off to play at many college levels and have won many provincial championships, specifically in basketball. But we're also very competitive in other sports. Our boys soccer team is very good, girls volleyball, rugby. All of these are pretty competitive athletic programs. Yeah.
A lot of students or parents, when sending kids to Canada, and they quite often think about the culture differences, and they might feel like discrimination. Would you please like to explain to us how the school treat discrimination issues?
We do not see very many discrimination issues in the school or even in the community directly towards our students. But if something was to happen, the first thing that would happen was the classroom teacher would intervene, ideally first, providing they saw the interaction. If not, the student would come to me directly usually, and then we would either consult the classroom teacher or go straight to the principal, depending on what the altercation was. And if there's any forms of discrimination, racism, anything like that happening in the building, the administration deals with it directly. Typically, depending on what it is, the offending student would be maybe sent home, or there would definitely be some consequences for that kind of action. We do not have like safety concerns for our students walking around the community.
Okay. Well, in your words, what is the difference between Brookswood and other school? Not particularly specific school. In your words, what is the?
I think Brookswood is more flexible because of its size. We are not so large that we cannot make course changes or have flexibility with students' like wants or needs, but we're also not so small that we don't have all the options. We can still offer the AP advanced courses and all of the things that they're interested in, and we still have, because we're not super big, the ability to customize kind of what a student might want, but bigger schools can't do that because they just have too many students to accommodate. Whereas we're kind of in the middle, mid-size.
It's like a family.
Yeah, we're like a mid-sized school, so we have all the good options, but we don't have to compete as much for space.
Right.
Compared to some of the bigger schools. Every school has its benefit. Every school is different. The school that he went to is double our size in population. It's very large. It is the second largest school in Langley. And because of that, it has many offerings. It is also therefore ranked higher. But because of their size, there is less flexibility for all students, not just international students, but all students. They are limited to what they can do. For example, taking Math 11 and 12 in 1 year is not possible there.
Right.
Because they have too many students. But should a student want to do that here, the chances are high because we have more space.
Well, it is very true. A lot of us parents, they see the ranking.
The ranking, yes.
Yeah, and then they choose specific school.
I despise that website.
You know what is it?
Personally.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because my job is against doing the ranking thing. Do you know why? Because they are selling real estate. It's for realtors.
It's not a bad school. They're all good schools. They just have different things.
Yeah, but the ranking is only for international students. They reference based on my job role. I help students to plan college success. So when students are going to be accepted by elite university based on the course they
courses,
choose.
Not the school they attend, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a community here, this is lovely. So, in your words, what is the community like?
Oh man, the community is very small in a good way. It's small because it's safe. There's nowhere really to get in trouble here, but it is connected. So if students want to go to Richmond, they want to go to Vancouver, they can get there on the weekends, and they can go out into the community. But it is nice that the houses are larger, there's more space for the students, and they know each other more, because students who stay with host families, like many of our host families have hosted for years and years. They're not new. A lot of them will have been long-term hosts because the community is kind of small.
Based on your work experience, what is the situation for parents before they making decision or sending kids to Canada?
My suggestion is to make sure that they have realistic expectations for what their child can achieve. And sometimes I think students need more time to adjust to the culture than their families are aware of. And that's when I see the biggest struggle in my students, is when they feel pressure from home to achieve very highly, but they need more time to get there. They can get there, but they just need more time to adjust to the culture and the language and everything, living alone or with a homestay, whatever. They need more time. So listening to your child and what they feel they're experiencing, and then adjusting your expectations. But if the language barrier is too high, they need the time. They can still get there, but they need the time. And
anyway,
I feel bad for them.
Jennifer,
yes.
Thank you so much for having me
yes,
here.
Of course. I hope we checked all the boxes.
非常高兴这次的访谈是由加拿大教育局所安排哦。如果你有相关的问题，可以在底下留言，或是与理查联系。